The hosts and guests on Everything's Messy podcast are not licensed healthcare professionals. The discussions in our episodes are not personalized medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider for medical guidance. Never delay seeking professional medical advice or emergency assistance because of our podcast. We encourage consulting with a healthcare professional before making any significant health changes. By listening to our podcast, you agree to the disclaimer. Thank you for listening to Everything's Messy podcast. Hey, welcome to Everything's Messy podcast, where we celebrate the beautiful but messy life experiences that most, if not all, people go through. Get ready to embark on an exciting journey through the raw and unfiltered stories of everyday people. Here, we dive into messy realities of life, from making messy mistakes to triumphs and everything in between. Are you sensing a theme? That's right, it's messy. But this just isn't about the mess. It's about finding strength and resilience in the midst of it all. We'll explore how health, fitness, and wellness play a crucial role in navigating life's twists and very messy turns. And we'll challenge conventional systems, because sometimes the most unconventional paths lead to the greatest discoveries. Join us as we embrace the messy, beautiful, and endlessly fascinating stories. Each episode is a testament to the power of our messy journeys and the beauty that emerges from the mess. So grab your favorite beverage, coffee, sparkling water, whatever it may be, and prepare to be inspired. Are you ready? Let's get messy. Hey, messy people. We are back right into 2026. Feels like we haven't missed a step. Okay, maybe I missed a few steps. I am fresh off a new workout. I don't know that it's a workout high, but I'm definitely feeling good vibes, good juices flowing, and ready to kick it off. So I hope everybody had great holidays, Christmas, New Year's, all of the fun things, and we are ready to get into it. So this episode, I talk a lot about knowing your why. This episode, I'm going to help you hopefully find your why. I'm going to go through it fairly quickly, but I will post a simple PDF version of the steps so you can find your why. It'll be on my link tree in my Instagram at Everything's Messy Wellness. Okay, so welcome 2026. Here we go. Okay, so I talk a lot about finding your why. Why is it that we want to get healthy? Why is it that we want to start a new routine? Why is it that we want to give up something? All of these things, we have to get to our why. Finding our why is important. You know, I've asked this question before to guests. I've had it asked of me, and it's a great place to start, especially when we're talking about new routines, maybe new physical activity, maybe just eating cleaner, whatever it's going to be. You know, for me, the question is always posed. You know, you always say, I would do anything for my children. Anything, right? There isn't anything no mountain that I wouldn't move, no horses that I wouldn't stop. Whatever it was, I would do anything for my children. Question always comes back to, but would you get healthy for your children? And so that's a great question, and it's a great place to start. But what happens is, if we forget why we need to do it for ourselves, or why we should be doing it for ourselves, the message kind of gets convoluted, and then it turns into I have to, and then the pressure is on, and then we're focused on maybe perfection, and then we're focused on, oh, I let them down, or I didn't complete this, and it gets very messy, very convoluted. And of course, we love messy here on this show. But I want to clean it up for you just a little bit. And not even clean it up, just give you a different way, a different perspective to find that why, okay? So when we're talking about why, here I wrote a few things down. We need to start with, right? This is where the starting, jumping off, step one, start with what you want. And I know that sounds very simplistic and whatever, but this is no filters. I want you to clear your mind. I don't want you to think what you should say, what you might be judged for saying, what other people's opinions are of what they think you should want. No, this is write down what you think you want this year. Very basic. Okay. Is it more energy, better health, more money, savings, whatever it is? Maybe a deeper connection. And this is really important, don't judge it. just get it out there. Don't even don't hold yourself to my standards or people. Like, seriously, if it's something as small as, I want a new, basketball, whatever it is, just write it down. In my case, wanting to get better at my golf game. My husband and I play, and we've really been enjoying the couple time that we've been spending. And, that's hard to find our time, find our schedule. But when I'm out there on the golf course, I'm having fun. It's just been great. So maybe I want to get better at my golf game. But for whatever your reason is, write it down. As simplistic as it may be, write it down. Okay, number 2, you need to ask, why do I want this? So this is where it gets a little more layered, because again, it's very easy to be like, oh, I can't say this because my family might judge me, or I feel stupid saying it. No, 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 no. This is, pick one intention, and ask yourself why you want it. Why do you want it? Why do you want it? Okay. Then take your answer. Okay. And this is all in step 2. This is why I'm doing a little PDF, because of a few steps, 7, I think, 7 or 8, but it helps you break it down. So take your one intention, ask why you want it, then take your answer and ask why again. Okay. So for example, I'm just going to use, getting fit, getting more healthy, lifting more weights, whatever it is. Okay. When I ask, why do I want this? The first thing that I always write down is, because I want to be strong. Yes, I want to be strong. I want to be strong into older age. I want to be strong mentally, physically, spiritually. I just want to be strong. I want to be able to compartmentalize and just be like, hey, I feel good when I'm lifting. I feel good when I'm doing the weights. I want to be strong. Okay. So now when we take that and we ask it again, why do you want this? I'm going to get a little deeper. I want this so I don't become a fragile old lady. I know that sounds funny, but I don't want to have my children worry about me falling, or me not being able to walk, or now I need the assistance of a walker, or I need, some sort of ambulatory thing to get around. I don't want that. I want to be able to be as independent for as long as possible, hopefully for the duration of my life. And the way that I do that now is I'm putting in the work now so I can, again, be strong long term. So that's the second part, long term. Then I'm going to ask it again. Why do you want this? Okay, so I want this for being strong long term to improve my health. Again, I want this to be strong. I want it long term to improve my overall health on every facet. Improve my blood sugar, improve my thyroid issues, improve musculoskeletal issues, my joints. What I want to continue to improve and make those better. I am seeing, and this is sort of a side thing, but I love it so much. I am seeing so many women on Instagram or on social media in their 50s, late 50s, into their 60s. They are strong. They are fit. They are being able to, at the moment, they can outdo me, which I know doesn't say a whole lot, but it's very impressive to me that women who are, past menopause, getting into their golden years, they are fit, they are strong, they are healthy, and that's my goal. That's what I want. Okay. So after you've asked yourself 3 to 5 times of why do you want this? Again, for me, strong, long-term, overall health, to be awesome in my golden years. Okay. So here's those 4 things that I did. Again, ask yourself it 3 to 5 times. Okay. Then notice the feeling. This is step step three, notice the feeling that you're chasing. Notice that. Feel that. Lean into that feeling that you're chasing. So most goals aren't about the thing, they're about a feeling. I mean, let's be honest. That brand new motivation, that brand new, I'm going to accomplish this, what I'm working towards. It's all a feeling, honestly. And we want to connect that feeling to what our goal is, what our intention is. Okay. So now this is really important. This is like step three, A. Ask yourself this. If the intention happened, if it happened, how would you feel? Oh, I love this part. How would I feel if I'm able to accomplish my intention? I feel like I'd had more confidence. I feel like I would be unstoppable. I feel like I would have more energy. I would love to be able to say, I got myself better health by doing this. Okay. So all of this is attached to a feeling. All of this meaning my journey, my striving, the things I'm working towards is to become the best version of myself, the most confident version of myself, with added benefits of obviously a fit body, toned body, feeling more confidence in my body, and being able to do things that maybe I wasn't able necessarily to do before. These are good things, okay? So your why is normally attached to that feeling. Step 4. This is a good one. Step 4. We are going to connect it to your life. Connect it to your life. However, not perfection. Ooh, okay, this is where I get tripped up because I'm very good about it has to look a certain way. I have to be eating so clean. My routine cannot vary. Oh, now I have to, go drive somewhere and it throws me off. And now I think that no. We are looking for consistency, not perfection. Okay. So when you're thinking about how you connect it to your life, what would change in your day-to-day life if your intention happened? I like this one too. What would change in your day-to-day life if your intention happened? In my day-to-day life, I would like to think I would have more energy. That's a big one. I would be more apt to try different things, maybe be a little more adventurous because I would feel strong in my capabilities, strong in my body, so I could attempt those adventurous things. I am not necessarily a daredevil. I am not necessarily wanting to jump out of a perfectly good plane and go skydiving. That's not what I'm really looking for. However, in my day-to-day life, to know that I might be able to do a few more things with my kids, a few more sports with them, or just the stamina to do it, the duration to do it, have a better golf swing because I'm stronger, I can drive it farther, all of these things. This is what I'm searching for. So that's how I'm going to connect it to my everyday life. Now, okay, number 5. We're already at 5. We're going to make it personal. We're not borrowing anybody else's goals. They may give you inspiration. They might make you think and go, oh, maybe this is what I want to do, but we're not borrowing goals. If your why includes words, okay, very important. We need to get rid of the should, I'm supposed to, everyone else is. Just pause for a minute. Pause. A true why shouldn't sound like, oh, I'm supposed to do this, because that is going to run out and you are not going to stick with it. That is not a true why. So your why needs to say, I want this because it matters to me. This is for me. Yes, my kids are going to have the benefit of it because I'm hoping it'll, keep me around longer, more physically fit. I don't want to be a burden on them or, they have to think about how they're going to take care of mom. I want to be able to be as independent for as long as I can with having good health and being strong. That's super important. So with that, right? We need to say, I want this because it matters to me. Yes, of course, I want it to benefit my children, but I want this for me. This is what I want for me. I mean, I'm out here doing this podcast. For those of you that are listening, that's good for you because you don't have to look at the mess I am. But I literally came in from my workout, sat down, started recording, and I do not look my best. But I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for consistency. Those that are watching me on YouTube, I apologize. No, you know what? I don't apologize. This is me. I'm trying to be out there. I'm raw. I came in from my workout and it was like, I know what I want to get done. I know what I want to talk about. And so I sat down and we started. Had I waited, tried to, spruce myself up, it wouldn't have the same energy that I hope the message right now has. So again, consistency, not perfection. I'm certainly not perfect. Okay. Number 6. So we're going to turn it into a grounding sentence. This is really important. I know these steps, especially if you're Gen Xer, you're like, this foo-foo, la-la, it's all bullshit. I don't care. No, no, no. Especially in Gen X, we do need to get in touch with this side of ourselves because we've had enough years of surviving and just doing what it takes. And now we need to take a moment and pause and say, I need to do this for me. And in order to get in touch with those deep layers, I need to ask these, call them silly questions if you will, although I don't think so. If you're putting in the work, it's going to reveal something to you. So we're going to turn it into a grounding sentence. So finish this sentence. I'm setting this intention because blank, and I deserve to feel, ready? I'm setting this intention because it matters to me and I deserve to feel strong. That's my sentence. That's my grounding sentence. And I can already feel it, right? If you start to get that lump in your throat, that tiny little choking feeling, or even just that, boost of energy or something that you're like, oh, yes, I feel it. This is it. That's your why. When you start to get choked up about it, when you start to identify, when you start to feel it, maybe it's in your gut. For me, it always gets in my throat and I just get a little choked up. This is your why. Again, roll your eyes, say this doesn't work for you. You have to go in with the right mindset. You have to go in with the right intentions. You can be your own worst enemy. I know I am. I never, ever would have done this exercise a few years ago. Not only would I think I was too cool, which I wasn't, I'm not a touchy-feely person. I don't have time, or I didn't have time to make myself a priority. Yeah, and look where that landed me, right? Freaking heart attack. So I'm making the time, I'm making the attention, learn from me. You don't have to spend a lot of time on this. This isn't journaling. Everybody who listens to this show knows what I feel about journaling. I actually hate the physical act of writing and getting into my emotions. I don't want any part of that. Now, yes, I am writing my book, but it's taking me a while because I don't have that, push for myself to be like, okay, you need to sit down and write. I'm almost finished. I have been doing it, but it's taking me a lot longer than probably most would say. Okay, so this is the last step. Step 7. You're going to check in during your hard moments. Okay, we can all do hard things. We can all survive. We can all push through. We can all rub some dirt on it, right? My dad used to say, do I need to get my knife? Does it hurt that bad? Let me cut it off. Yeah. Well, we've all been in those stages. We can do hard things. But when we check in on those hard moments and we understand that finding our why isn't for January 1st. That's not what this why is for. This is to actually prepare our bodies, prepare ourselves, prepare our minds for what we want to accomplish, for what we want to get done. This is why this is speaking to you. I realize it's touchy-feely, foo-foo, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, if you put into this just even an ounce of maybe this will help me, maybe this will work, you will be surprised what you get out of it. Okay. So when we check in, we understand this is not for January 1st. This knowing our why is for the days that we're tired, for the days that is too much stress it is getting to us, for the days that we just say, I'm overwhelmed. Oh, and I am so tempted to quit right now. This second, I'm done. Okay. If we can bring back why this matters, if it can carry you through those moments, then that why is strong enough. That is what you're going to lean on. That is what's going to take you from dabbling or not being serious about something to the next level where you are showing up for yourself. Showing up for ourselves every day is so important. And also, because it's ourselves, it's so easy to say, yeah, I don't need to do that today for me. I don't need to do that today for me. I am telling you, that's the easy road. We focus on other people and their needs and their problems so we don't have to focus on ourselves. And that is such a slippery slope to get into. It's such a slippery slope. Don't go down that road. Show up for yourself every day because you know your why. Okay? Again, your why doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be pretty or even inspirational. What it has to be, are you ready? What it has to be true. It has to be true. The only way to find that truth and weed out all of the noise of what you're supposed to do, what other people are doing, what you're being judged for, the only way to weed out that truth or to weed out what it is to make it true. That is the most important. So, with this finding your why, and I love this so much, now you're going to name your intention clearly. You're going to name it. So for me, I want to transform my body, my mind, and my spirit, because again, we've talked about you must have all three, right? You need all three. So I want to transform my body, mind, and spirit to be healthy, strong, and have more stamina and endurance long term. Okay? A daily mantra, if you will. Write it down, post it, whatever yours is, keep looking at it. You know, last year I did a vision board. I stare at my vision board every single day I wake up. When I was doing it and cutting out all of these pictures and clippings and whatever, I'm like, this is so dumb. Why am I doing this? You know what, though? Every day I stare at that vision board and it reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing. On those days where I think this isn't going anywhere, who am I actually helping? Who is actually listening to me when I think I'm dabbling in a little bit of imposter syndrome? I look at that vision board and I go, there, that's why. Get centered, get focused. That's what I need. So now when I have my why, it's one more thing I'm adding to this is why. It's my truth. It's what's pushing me every day, not guilt, not looking for the perfection, not trying to compete with anybody. The only person you should be in competition with is yourself. That's it. It's the only person that you should be in competition with. So I know that gets a little sticky. Nobody wants to do those, you know, touchy-feely things. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But I think it's in your best interest to feel safe enough to come out and do these exercises if you're feeling like you can't. Safe is a hard word. We don't want to be judged. We don't want people to think differently about us. We want to have everybody perceive us in the, safest, coolest, best way possible, our best selves, our best intentions. But we need to take care of ourselves in the moments of thinking, hey, I might want to do this. Maybe you want to go run a marathon. Maybe you want to go pick up golf. Maybe you want to learn to play guitar. Those are all great things. Remember when it gets hard and you're frustrated and all you know is two chords, why you're doing it. Why you're doing it, right? So remember this too. This is what kind of gets me too. This isn't about fixing yourself. We don't need to fix ourselves in this sense that this is a new year and we need to try, but no, because that gets into the perfection thing. We don't need to fix ourselves. This is about coming home to ourselves. This is about becoming stronger, steadier, and more alive and leaning into those feelings. That's where the messy magic happens. I'm sorry I had to say it because it is messy. It's not going to be perfect. If you're striving for perfect, first of all, this isn't your show. Second of all, if you can't accept that things are going to be messy and frustrating and they're not always going to feel, great and perfect and like you're doing the right thing, this is where you can say, it's okay. I'm not fixing myself. I'm coming home to myself. That is so powerful to me. I love I love being able to say that, on my healing journey, there was so much crap mentally that I had to deal with. And I'm still dealing with a lot of it. But a lot of it I've been able to go, okay, we're done with that box. And just make peace with it. And when you feel that clarity, the clutter kind of lifts and you feel like you can breathe. I think I've talked about on this show. Well, I know I have, not I think I know I have. I didn't know how to breathe properly because I was holding everything. My jaw was always tight, my shoulders up to my ears, my stomach clenched all the time. Didn't even realize I was doing that. Now when I recognize those feelings and I say, okay, it's time to do some deep breathing. And everything shifts in me. That moment is so important. But if you're going weeks, months, years, like I was, and you're not recognizing that and you're not, letting go of some of that frustration and stress and tension, that is when your body's going to answer you back with a chronic illness, an autoimmune disease, chronic inflammation. I mean, you name it, it's coming. We need to be able to be in a point where we understand it and we're going to let it go. So now this brings you to the 3 words. If you don't need 3 words and you only need 1 or 2, that's great. I needed 3. I needed 3 words. And there is it's called wordfinder.com or wordsforinspo.com, something like that for the new year if you need to go on there and find your words. I didn't go do this. I've heard some people are using it. And that's great if you need some inspiration to find the words. I was led to just think about the words I already know and apply them to myself and what I wanted. So my first word, resilient. Man, I just love this word. For me, resilience isn't about pushing harder. It's about building the strength, stamina, and endurance with compassion to myself. Compassion to myself. It honors me. It honors my body, my mind, my spirit, and especially on those hard days. Look, I'm not saying I'm not going to push myself. It's the manner in which I'm telling myself that it's the way that I want to push myself. The compassion part, not beating myself up, not saying, come on, you sissy Lala, keep going. What's the matter with you? People your age are running around, they're doing so much more than you. No. That's the negative self-talk I don't need. What I need is to remember that I'm working towards being strong for the stamina, the endurance, long-term. So I'm going to push myself with compassion. That's my number 1. Okay. I want to build the strength, the stamina, and the trust, right? We have to build that trust within ourselves. And it's by one steady choice at a time. Okay. That is how your body's going to start trusting what you're telling it. All right. So strong is obviously sort of the next word, right? Because I keep saying it. So resilient and strong. So let's get into strong. I'm trying to find my notes here. So I will say this, walk back just a little bit back to resilience. I'm calling it steady resilience because steady reminds me that I'm not having to show up perfect. I'm just having to show up steadily, one step at a time. So I'm calling it steady resilience. So I guess that's 4 words, but I'm making it a Sarah word and smushing them together. But right now it's steady resilience. So the next word, obviously, like I said, is strong. It's being able to ground myself and lean on what that word means to me. So I have my steady resilience to keep me going, but show myself compassion in a steady progress, not perfection. The strong is going to remind me of endurance, of integration almost, because I'm trying to see what I've done, where I need to shift, and adjust gently. Adjust gently. Right? And this may not be speaking to a whole lot of men out there. I get that you're wired differently. You're going to push yourself to your extreme and your limits. And I am all for you guys doing that. For me, and maybe for a lot of women out there, if we could remind ourselves not to beat ourselves up and adjust gently, shift, right? Gently, that helps us, I think, to stay grounded so we can not beat ourselves up and show up again the next day, because we know we're not going to get an ass kicking from our own selves, right? That's what scares me the worst, is the ass kicking of myself. So let's go to my next one. Oh yes, playful. And I know that that word doesn't have anything to do with the others, right? Steady resilience, strong, playful. Here's the thing. I tend to get very serious, and I forget to not take things so seriously. And so I'm wanting to invite into my life more movement, right? We're always talking about move that body, but I want to do it in different ways, in playful ways. Maybe I'm going to have a dance party in my kitchen when I'm making dinner with my kids and get them involved. I'm just going to make sure that the movement is going to serve me in a gentler way, and I can be playful with it instead of always just focus, 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 focus. Yes, it is important to do that, but I want to bring back some playfulness. I want to be a little, daring. I want to try a few things that may not always be on my radar. Why? Because I'm going to have the strength, my resilience, to be able to nudge me into that and know that I'm safe doing it. So again, I'm not talking about jumping on airplanes. I am going to be doing just recognizing moments where I can add some playfulness to it. And I think that way it's going to build for me the life, or a big part of the life, where I can laugh and play and have fun. And granted, my kids are older, they're teenagers. Surprisingly enough, though, they still like to hang out with me. And I just love that. And, a lot of times I am too serious. I'm calling myself out. It's really easy for me to get down in the weeds of what I'm trying to do as a mom and prepare and organize it. But darn it, I need some playfulness. I need some just happy-go-lucky, whatever, like I said, dancing in the kitchen or whatever it may be. I want that. I need that. So that is on the forefront for me. And that is what I'm excited about. I'm excited to bring that and incorporate in that, because fun doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be scheduled, and it doesn't have to be productive. I think that's one of my things too. Everywhere I look, and I think a lot of moms feel this way, there's always something that can be done. There's always something to be done. I have to let that go. I have to just be like, okay, again, maybe not the dishes. My dishes, they need to get done. But in other ways, I can, maybe make an exception. Not to where it's going to pile on the next day and make me have so many other things to do, but just recognizing it's not the time for that. I don't need to produce something. I don't need to organize something. I don't need to be in mom mode to make, all of the wheels in the cog moving. I don't need that. I'm just going to take time and be playful, right? So steady resilience, strong, and playful. Because play will keep the resilience from becoming rigid. I love this. It will make the resilience from becoming rigid. I don't want to be rigid. I don't. Um, you know, I want to have a little spontaneity. I want to have a little, fun times. Whatever I can think of, and not to stress yourself out. It's one more thing I have to think of, but see if you can just find little ways to bring in fun if you're looking for that. I'm looking for that. So, the other thing that I've done, so my words again, steady resilience, strong, and playful. Okay. And what I've told myself is I need to make sure that some of the things that I do day to day have no outcome. What does that mean? I'm usually outcome based. What is this going to do? Produce, make easier for me, whatever it is. I want to incorporate things that are going to have no outcome. Um, you know, I want to make time, and I do this, but I do it combined with something else. I like to ground, bare feet, grounding outside, and I'm able to soak up the sun. Well, now I'm telling myself, yes, go ground. That's wonderful. But maybe take, even if it's just 5 minutes, I'm going to take 5 minutes and just lay in the sun, bask in the sun for 5 minutes. The outcome being maybe that I will be able to produce more vitamin D and it'll be converted and all this kind of stuff, but really to just bask in the sun. That is something that maybe doesn't sound very playful to you, but at least for me, it brings less, being rigid and just being still, and that's okay. So a couple of things that you might be able to do for yourself is, if your seriousness pops up, if you're like me and you're not wanting to be so serious, I always give the inner critic a nickname, right? So on my other podcast, we joke about, we don't know anybody by this name, and I'm not here to offend anybody with this name, but on Truth and Pink, my bestie and I, we talk about Joanna showing up. Joanna is the mean one in the store to us. Joanna cuts us off in traffic. Joanna is also the voice in our head that's telling us we're not good enough, and we just want to say, STFU, Joanna, STFU. And so if you name it, and then you can have fun with it, and then it helps you sort of build this better inner dialogue where, okay, let's face it, we're not talking, completely crazy, although I own my crazy. It's there to reset our nervous system, right? Humor does that. Humor can reset our nervous system. And we're allowed to laugh. We're allowed to be like, okay, all right, quiet down there, Joanna, quiet down. We just need to name it, make sure it doesn't have any power over us, and then we're laughing about it. And if you feel comfortable enough to bring in other people to help you with that or let them in on the inside joke, I know, like I said, my bestie and I on the other podcast, we are laughing all the time. As soon as we say Joanna, we just have this release of humor because we know what that means to each of us. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go check out Truth and Pink. Also Spotify, YouTube, Apple. That's where I am not so serious. It's really just women going through perimenopause, laughing about it, and we have a great time. My everything's messy is my seriousness, although I do like to bring the fun sometimes. It's mostly I just want to get the information into your hands because I'm trying so desperately. If there's anyone out there that was in a spot like I was, what I would have loved to have on the journey of somebody and, going through it and me saying, yes, that. So, okay. Now you know how to find your why. You know how to get your 3 words or 4, as I always like to break the rules. And start making these little mantras for yourself, right? If it's discipline, can you be disciplined through humor or with humor or not taking it so seriously? If it's, doing better at your golf game, can you laugh as much as you're trying to improve? Can you laugh when it's absolutely the worst game you've ever played? And isn't that the nature of golf, right? You can have your best day and then do everything the same the next day and it's your worst day, right? That's the game that we love to hate, right? So that is what I have for this episode. I am so excited for what 2026 is going to bring. I've got some guests lined up for us this year. I've got some, obviously information, data, as I am the data nerd or the data queen, as my husband likes to say. And I hope we can just, you know, get out there together. I always think it's hard when January comes because it does seem like there's this undue pressure on us to figure out what we're supposed to do. We didn't figure out it in 2025. This is supposed to be better. But I want you to remember here, I'm going to get nerdy here really quick. I want you to remember that in, I believe it was the 14th century, when they introduced the Gregorian calendar and they made January be the start of the year, it was actually, it goes against what our bodies are used to. And what I mean by that is if you look at the seasons, I talked a couple episodes ago about eating with the seasons, what it's doing for our body. But there's one more step to that. And that is we say January's our rebirth, our new year, set our resolutions. Although I don't like the word resolutions. I stick with intentions or goals, but that's what January is supposed to be for. But when a lot of people, not most, but a lot of people, and I was one of these, it was hard to get in the mindset of making a goal or making a resolution because we are in our hibernation period right now. We are in our rest period right now. This is what winter is for. The dark days of winter, there's a reason they call it, is because our bodies are supposed to be moving slower. I'm not saying you can't work out, but it is supposed to be a time of rest. It is time to go deep into ourselves and be dark with whatever it is, not in a depressing way, but just let the body rest. Our rebirth, if you will, or our restart, as I like to call it, comes in the spring. So if we had gone with the original calendar of matching up with the seasons, our rebirth would come when everything else is resetting. You have flowers blooming and things starting to blossom and, vegetables and fruit and all of the stuff that are starting to happen in spring. We get our color back. Why? Because in winter, there's no color. It's drab, it's dark. I mean, depending on where you live, but that's typically what it is. And in the spring, everything comes out and it's beautiful and it's a reset, a rebirth of all of the things in nature. We are supposed to be like that. So if you don't feel like it right now, if you are so over the New Year's talk and the resolutions and, oh my God, I just can't, and maybe you're not even that kind of person to give yourself new goals, have this conversation with yourself again in March. And I'll remind you, I'll bring it up again, but have it again in March when spring starts to come and see if you don't feel a little more motivated, a little more aligned with your body and with the nature and the seasons, and see if you can't come up with something then. So, okay, my messy warriors, this has been awesome. Don't forget, if you really like what I'm saying, please go leave me a review on Apple or Spotify. Also, if you are looking for a supplement, like I've said before, I only put my name on very, very few. It's 2 supplements that I talk about. And one of them is Primal Queen. It is the liver supplement that I take that is for women because it has the thyroid, it has fallopian tubes, all kind of female health, all mashed up into this wonderful, wonderful supplement called Primal Queen. If you use my link on my link tree, you'll get a discount. Again, it's the only one that I put my name on. The other one, and I get no compensation for it, is the progesterone cream that I use, and it is all on my website along with my Instagram. So I am very happy to be kicking off 2026 and keep it messy. Thanks for listening to Everything's Messy podcast. Whew, if you made it this far, give yourself a gold star or at least a nap. Honestly, if you showed up today and you were listening, you've already crushed it. I'm so grateful for you listening. If anything hit home, share it, tag me, write it on a sticky note. I don't care. Just don't keep all of this messy goodness to yourself. You can find me on Instagram at Everything's Messy Wellness or over at my website, everythingsmessywellness.com, where I've got resources, coaching, and probably a new rant about blood sugar or something that's just nonsense. It's all waiting for you. Check out my YouTube channel. I've got all of my podcast episodes up there. And I'm on X at Everything's Mess. Or if you just want to send me an email, Sarah at everythingsmessywellness.com. Look, until next time, hydrate, take no crap, and as always, keep it messy.